Friends, engineers, civil engineers, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, architects, and consultant engineers, and my students of MEP classes. Uh, we shall go through integrated India interior services water supply portion. Several codes are applied while designing the water services, and of them, the basic important is Code of Basic Requirement of Water Supply, Drainage and Sanitary. Fourth, this is Indian Standard 1172 of 1993. Uh, as per Indian Standard 12183, Part 1, 1987, Code of Practice of Plumbing in Multi-Story Building, Part 1, Water Supply. This will be our discussion. In the National Building Code, the Part 9 in the Volume 2 discusses plumbing services, and under this Section 1 is water supply, Section 2 is drainage and sanitation, Section 3 is solid waste management, and Section 4 we are not concerned. Friends, several organizations are working on various standards for water supply, of which the local building bylaws authority having jurisdiction like development authorities, housing board, municipal corporation, you have to obey them first. Second comes National Building Code 2016 and getting amended in 2025, but not so far done. Uh, these local authority having jurisdictions 100% code National Building Code. Then Bureau of Indian Standard. Fourth is Public Health Engineering and Environmental Research Organization. This is in Nagpur. When I was executive engineer and superintending engineer electrical in Nagpur, uh, I was in charge of this particular building also. If we talk of international standard, then WHO most famous. The Central Medical Research Institute provides water supply as may be needed by animals. Then CPW have their own specification. So are MES Military Engineering Services and National Building Construction Corporation. And at last, the Legion Board. Friends, I am very particular about the unit. Now, pressure has got several units defined. The first one was MPS, and it was 1st April 1957. In Parliament, December 1956, adopted another, and SI unit was adopted by Bureau of Indian Standard in 1970, and current all Indian standards are using that unit, SI unit. The SI unit of pressure is Pascal. This is very small unit. So 10 to the power 5 Pascal is equal to nearly 1 atmosphere. So 1 atmospheric pressure at 0 MSL level and STP conditions is equal to 1.013 bar, which is the R equal to 101 kilopascals. This bar is a engineer's unit for person, and 1 bar is equal to 10.33 meter of water head. And when we calculate metric HP of any pump, we use Q into H divided by multiplication of 75 with efficiency. The basic principles with respect to water supply are: the design of water supply takes following into consideration: number of occupants, minimum water requirement for different purposes, treatment of water based on the quality of water, quantity of water stored, and sizing of pipes. Friends, for designing the water supply system, you are supposed to know the population concerned. If you don't have exact data regarding population for which you are going to design the services, you can take help of National Building Code, which prescribes a population of 4 persons in one bedroom dwelling unit. For two bedroom it is 5, for three bedroom it is 6, and for 4 bedroom it is 7. Friends, previously DDA has a different type of classification system which is no, which is described here. ESW means economical weaker section, and under that type 1 having floor area of 35 square meter, and it describes with toilet number of bedrooms. For LIG, MIG, HIG, high income group, bungalow single story, and this they have given the floor area and number of toilets. Here is a short guideline for non-residential building. For offices, you are supposed to take 1 person per 10 square meter of floor area. For schools, strength of the school, teaching and non-teaching staff. For hotels, number of beds plus 4.5 wardens and staff. You can go through this type of code calculation given in National Building Code. National Building Code has suggested the occupant load for various buildings, so you can always take help of this type. In case of residential, it is 12.5 occupancy area per person. In educational building, it is 4. Similarly, you can go mercantile buildings with basement and with shop and uppers. The mercantile buildings are buildings where you carry out business, you make the payment without check. Business class is the buildings in which you make the payment by check, say like sale tax building, income tax building. So you can take help of this. Friends, depending upon the population of buildings, population of city, you are supposed to make you are supposed to provide minimum quantity of water per head, a minimum of 70 to 100 liter per head per day may be considered adequate for domestic needs of urban communities, apart from non-domestic needs as pressing requirement which varies based on type of building occupancy. As a general rule, the following rates per capita per day may be considered for domestic and non-domestic needs. A. For communities with population up to 20,000, water supply through stand 40 liter per head per day, then water supply through house 70 to 100 liter per head per day. For communities with population 20,000 to 1 lakh, you are supposed to provide, municipal corporation engineer, supposed to provide 100 to 135 liter per head per day. For communities with population above 1 lakh, 150 to 200 liter per head per day is suggested. In the previous slide, I have given a figure of 135 liter per person. That is based on drinking 3 liters, cooking 4 liters, for bathing 20 liters, flushing toilet 40 liter per person, washing clothes 25 liter per person, washing utensil 20 liter per person, and for gardening 23 liter per person. So it make up a score of 135 liter per person. The Indian Standard 1172 of 1971, that is basic requirement for water supply, drainage and sanitation, recommends gives a different type figure breakup of 135. Friends, this chart provides uh, the water requirement in non-residential building, and it is very comprehensive for all type of occupancies, and a person can take detail. I will describe all the offices. They say domestic water supply 25 per head, flushing 20 per head, and 45 per head total consumption per day. You can find out for others. Friends, this this is the second part of previous slide, in which the shopping and retail shops and traffic terminal stations, airports, railway stations, and bus terminals, the water requirement can be taken from this chart, which is given in National Building Code. Friends, water supply for firefighting purposes. This is only one-time requirement, and it does not vary from day to day. Only you are needed to store the water as per fire rules given in building part 4, fire and life safety. Friends, water supply for other purposes other than drinking and fire. Water supply in many buildings is also required for many other applications than domestic use, which shall be identified in the initial stages of planning. In such instances, for information about the water use is to be obtained. Friends, you can safely assume water demand for landscaping purposes, and it is generally taken as 6 to 8 liter per meter square per day for lawns. For shrubs and trees, the above value can be reduced considerably. For swimming pool, 4% of the capacity, and for fountains, 180 to 240 liters per hour of operation. Friends, at the end we are discussing green building concept. The green building concept has following attributes. It should be having eco-friendly structure. It should be having minimum natural resources, preserving them for future generations. Sustainability, then conservation of energy by means of smart devices, using recyclable material, fly ash, and using um, friendly environment, workplace and discipline. Uh, Thanks, friends, for constantly and peacefully and meaningfully watching my presentation. Thanks again, once from MEP Engineer DK Jain.